What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I would like to welcome you all to another edition of Wayne's Perspective, where we operate in discipline, decency, integrity, and respect. And I'm coming through with another video just for you. All right, y'all. So before we get things started, I hope everyone is doing okay. We're about to head into another weekend. The time is continuing to flow by real fast. And as they say, time waits for no one. So next thing you know, we're going to be in the month of June. And if you've been following me and my channel, you know what the month of June is. I turned 40 on June 25th. So as of right now, there are still no concrete plans in place, but I'm still looking forward to turning 40 on the 25th. So other than that, I hope everyone is doing okay. As for me, I'm doing okay as well. Nothing to complain about. I'm looking forward to the weekend as well, even though most of the time I'm going to be working. I'm still looking forward to the weekend overall as I normally do. But other than that, I'm doing just fine. No complaints. Taking every day one day at a time and living life the best way I know how. So, with all that being said, today's reaction video is going to be a very interesting one. Um, I'm going to be reacting to a video from the sister at the Ali Robbins show. So shout out to her. I'm not sure if you're all familiar with her work, but I think after this, I think you should hit her up with a follow. Based on this one video, it seems like she's pretty good at what she's doing. So, like I said, shout out to her. The sister at the Ali Robbins channel, and again, saying it early, fair usage, fair usage. Okay, so before I get into the video, okay, I know the fellas are going to be listening to this, but this is mainly going to be directed to the ladies. So, ladies, let me talk to y'all for a minute. Ladies of all races to be sure, but I want to focus keenly on my black women, my black sisters. Okay, now this is not me pandering to you all. It's no pandering exercise here. But it goes without saying that I like women. I love women. I love my sisters. Okay, I'll be one of the first to tell you that. You know, I have a good relationship with my mom. I have a cordial relationship with my son's mother. The new lady in my life who's probably listening to this right now, she's an exceptional sister, an exceptional woman. And I may be a little biased in that, but it's all good. She's a good woman. Hell, you know, you know, my last woman, the last woman in my life, she was a good sister for all her faults. But at the same time, where I can heap praise, if you will, where I can dish out positive comments and positive thoughts and things like that. The opposite side of that is when it's time to hold women accountable for the things that they do and the way that they act and the things that they say. Us as men and even other women for that matter should call you out on what you're doing, hold you accountable. It's not no situation where you can do what you want. Okay, let me back up. Sure, as an adult, you can do what you want. Nobody is trying to take that away from you, but when you're so visible with how you're acting and you're so out there with how you act and how you speak and how you treat other people, and if it's in a public format, such as it being on social media and all of that, you're going to get called out for that. You're going to be held accountable, so you're just going to have to accept that that comes within the territory. It's not that people are trying to tell you what to do. It's just, when you act a certain way, you're going to be called out on your behavior. It's that simple. Just like when you was in your preteen years and your teen years and your post-teen years, i.e. your adult years, when you act a certain way, people gonna let you know how they feel. They're gonna let you know what they think. And any reasonable people would do that. Now, you can also say that, okay, it depends on how it's presented, it depends on how people come at you, but you got to think, not everything is going to be sugarcoated, not everything is going to be touched on with a nice bouquet of flowers, and things like that. Sometimes you got to get it hard, if you will, no pun intended, but that's the main thing. And the same thing goes with us men, for the fellas, you know, um, when we make certain comments or act a certain way, best believe we're going to be called out. We're going to be held accountable, and all of that, and that's no problem with us men, most responsible men who got our stuff together, it's no issue with that. Hell, I have no problem holding myself accountable, and I have no problem with anybody else holding me accountable. is something that comes with the territory. It's something that comes with being an adult, a responsible adult. You know what I'm saying? And this video is going to highlight a couple of things, namely things that happened, I want to say a couple of months ago. So and actually, to be honest with you, I couldn't wait to talk about these on my channel because other content creators have discussed this as well. So now it's going to be my turn, even though it's a few months old. Now, so I just wanted to make that clear to start with. Now, next, okay, so I have no problem with holding women accountable, and I have no problem with showing appreciation to a woman, and giving out positive comments when it's necessary. And best believe, and this is no flex, but this is just honest. Any woman in my past and present that I've come in contact with, I always treat with the utmost respect, and I think a lot of people can vouch for me with that, and that's the way it's supposed to be. So you're probably thinking, okay, so Wayne, you say all this, you've made comments, you've done previous videos and things like that. So what's your idea of a good woman? What do you think a good woman should be? What sets the standard for a good woman in your view? Okay, I'll explain it. I'll explain one example and then I explain another example. So just hear me out. Okay. First off, my ideal woman is a woman of substance. Okay. So with that being said, you have a woman who has a positive attitude, a woman who's classy, a woman who flourishes in her natural beauty. She's dignified in her appearance. She has high self-esteem. She's definitely respectful of herself and others. She's nurturing, whether she's a mother or not. She's kind. She's professional when it comes to her work, and she's sensitive. That's a woman of substance. Now, you notice that I didn't mention the word submissive, and there's a reason behind that. Now I understand what submissive means, and I understand its purpose specifically from a relationship aspect, but this word continues to trigger all kinds of responses. Now, I'm going to make an attempt real time to say what my idea, or should I say my definition of submission is. No, I'm not going to go on Google and get the definition. I'm just going to come right off the top of my head with my thoughts, my interpretation of what being submissive is. Now, there's this continuous misconception that, at least from a woman's standpoint, that when they hear the word submissive, they think, okay, doing any and everything that a man says. That's not what it's about. It's never been about that. It never will be about that. Now, granted, okay, there may be some women who there may be some men who look at women as simply that, pieces of property. But at the same time, men, specifically black men, most of us do not look at women as pieces of property. We're not your daddies. We're not trying to be your daddies, anything like that, and the continuous misconception continues, thinking that, okay, in addition to it meaning that you do any and everything a man says with no questions or debate or anything like that, it's also the notion that the woman has no say or anything like that. And again, that misconception is just what it is, a misconception. Being submissive, in my view, means knowing your role. And I'm going to explain that by giving a good example. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the black cinema movies from the 70s. I'm a long time fan of those movies. Just about all of them I own, the real notable ones, take your pick. Black Caesar, Hell Up in Harlem, Bucktown, Shaft's Big Score, things like that. But the one movie that I want to touch on is a movie called Black Gun, and this is starring the late Jim Brown. Rest in peace to Mr. Jim Brown. Now, if any of you haven't seen that, I recommend you check it out. If you haven't seen it in a long time, go ahead and check it out. You may like it a little more than you did back in the day. But there was a scene that I really liked in this movie. What happened was Jim Brown, I can't recall the name of his character off the top of my head, but him and his lady was laying in bed, right? And I want to say this scene was in the middle of the night or something like that. And what happened was the there was a knock on the door, and I believe some detectives were at the door because they wanted to question Jim Brown about some things. Now, of course, when there's a knock like that, the woman is going to get up, all starred and everything, want to know what's going on. Now, Jim Brown was pretty much getting up too. And of course, the woman in this situation, she wants to see what's going on too. And she was kind of adamant that she wanted to go to the door to see what the banging was about. But Jim Brown just calmly said, and I'm paraphrasing a bit, he said, I got this, and that's what I'm talking about. That's being submissive. Now, of course, long after he got to the door, she eventually made her way to the door anyway. But the thing is that I use that example as being submissive because in an instant like that, when it's the middle of the night and there's some banging at the door, it's a man's job, and some would say his responsibility, to be the first to get up and go to the door to see what that's about. And that's what that's Jim Character, bless my heart. That's what Jim Brown's character did, because like I said, she wanted to go to that door and see what the hell was going on. But Jim Brown was pretty much, I got this. That's being submissive. That's the example that I'm pretty much always going to use when that word comes up. And like I said, in present day 2024, that word is a strong misconception around it. And anytime it's mentioned, it usually triggers all kinds of responses, usually from Black women, because when they hear that word, the first thing that comes to their mind is just control and domination. And that's not what this is about. This is, like I said, it's as simple as knowing your role. And that's what that black gun example means. I got this. And it's not even like Jim Brown was forceful. He calmly was like, again, I got this. Now after the fact, yeah, you can come to the door because obviously you're interested in what's going on. But in a situation like that, it's the man's job and responsibility to go to that door and see what's going on. And in my view, you're not being a man if you say, sweetheart, can you get that? I'm tired. No, that's not going to fly. Because then if she gets harmed or if there's, some kind of trouble at the door, then the first question is going to be, where was the man? Where was he at? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I wanted to use that black gun example. So continuing on the opposite end of a woman of substance, you got a woman of ratchetness. And what comes with a woman of ratchetness? Well, it's obvious: combative, loud, obnoxious, unbearable in the way that she behaves, entitled, aggressive, selfish, arrogant, money oriented, and not in a good way, transactional, and of course, a horrible attitude. And that's what it boils down to right there. So you got a woman of substance on one end, and you got a woman of ratchetness on the other end. And you cannot mix the two. You cannot be a woman of substance, but have some ratchetness in you. You definitely can't be a woman of ratchetness with a touch of substance in you. They just do not go together. And you should not even try to make them go together because it's not going to work. What's that example from back in the day? It's like oil and water, it just don't mix, or oil and vinegar or something like that, which reminds me, I need to revisit Class Act, but that's another story. But that's the thing here. It all boils down to how you carry yourself and your attitude. You can be the finest woman in the world, okay? But if your attitude sucks, that negates any other positive aspects about you. You cannot have a horrible attitude but a beautiful spirit. And again, those two things do not go together. They just don't, Now, speaking of the ratchetness, that's going to be on full display in this particular video that I'm going to highlight here. So just think about that for a minute. And I'm going to come to this woman of substance and woman of ratchetness towards the end as well. But I just wanted to highlight those before we finally get into this video here. So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get this screen shared and we're going to take a look at this video. And again, shout out to this sister, the Ali Robbins Show, and fair uses for the video, fair uses. Let's go ahead and get into it, y'all.
I never thought that I would have to make a video about this, but I also never thought that I would ever see a video like this in order for me to react to it. So let's talk about it. So while I was on my laptop like a couple of days ago, I was looking for a film to watch, and I actually am in the process of watching The Iron Claw. Going through, I always take a peek on YouTube to see what's going on, what people are talking about. I guess there's this thing now. The actual situation happened like 2 months ago. Reactions just started to pop up for me after I started watching a certain channel, and just listen for yourself.
Okay, so y'all, story time. So y'all, please tell me if I'm wrong. So today, this dude wrote me on Instagram, and he was like, "Can I send you money? Let me send you money for lunch." So I was like, "Okay." I wrote him back, and I was like, "Send it." So he wrote me and was like, "Okay, what's your cash app?" So I sent him the cash app. Yeah, I just knew I was gonna open my cash app, and I was gonna have at least probably about $100. You get what I'm saying? Because like this, I eat, and that's how much I spend on my food. Yeah, I opened my cash app, and this man sent me $30. Yeah, yes, $30. And I'm just like, at first I'm like, damn, like, am I ungrateful? Like, am I fucked up? Like, feeling like, why the fuck would you send me $30? But then I had to ask people, and they was like, nah, because I'm like, $30 is not even half a tank in my car. Like, what the fuck you thought I was gonna go to Chick-fil-A? Like, I mean, I'm trying to figure out what did you think I was gonna eat? It's like,
So I'm
Okay, so I'm sure y'all seen this video. You know, many people have reacted to it, and I know there's a full video out there, and you know, she just mainly touches on this video a little bit, but she doesn't go into it in full. She just make comments here and there. But I'm sure y'all seen that video. Now, that chick, bless her heart, she got to be, I would say, probably the youngest being 21 and oldest probably 25 or 26. But that sort of attitude, as well as everything else that she said in the video, complete with that entitled attitude and, you know, the facial, it shows all in the facial expressions too. That's what we're dealing with here, you know, in present day 2024. And now when I think about it, and I think most of y'all can back me up on this, I think one of the main things that has happened to society is social media and reality TV. So if anybody wants to ask the question, you know, what happened to our women, that's what happened to our women, you know, everything. It all boils down to the social media effect and the reality TV effect. And without social media becoming such an essential part of our culture, if you will, and without the pushing of reality TV for the last 10 or 15 years, maybe more, maybe things will be different right now in terms of how men and women, specifically black men and black women, interact with each other. And that attitude displayed in that video, I mean, it's all there. It's all in the way that she was talking. It's all in, you know, the facial expressions and the sense of entitlement. And then to the brother who sent that money. Now let me talk to the fellas for a bit. Y'all got to stop doing this, you know, because, and other content creators have made this same point. You got to stop hyping these females up. You got get out of their inboxes, get out of their instant messages. Stop direct messaging them and instant messaging them and all that. Stop it. I don't care how good they look. You know, this brother could have put that $30 to use in another form. Hell, get your own self some gas, you know, or do something else productive with it. Stop giving these women your money like that, especially when you're not in a relationship, or if she's not feeling you like that, or if it just gives the vibe that is nothing but a simple transaction. That's it. I mean, stop it. Stop it. It's, you know, stop. It's not going to end well, you know, and the more y'all keep doing this, you're going to create more women like this. And the sense of entitlement and all of that stuff is just going to go higher and higher and higher. So it ain't just the women in this regard, you know, fellas, y'all got to step up too. Yeah, she may be easy on the eyes or whatever, but that don't mean you have to flood her cash out. I'm sure she's working. Let her buy her own damn lunch. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to make that point. So yeah, stop sending these women money. Stop. And next up, I may be getting ahead a little bit because I think she talks about this particular video a little bit more, but also I think the lady in that video with the curly hair who was railing about the $30, I don't think anybody else has concluded this, but I'm going to say it now. What I think she did, and I don't know if this was a mistake or not, but what I think she did was she confused that lunch for dinner. You know, that's what I think she did, because I mean, realistically, who spends $100 on lunch? Who does that? And when she was mentioning, you know, a drink or two, an entree, a dinner, and all that. I mean, not a dinner, a drink, an entree, and dessert. I mean, who eats all that at lunch? I mean, I don't do that, and I don't know anybody else who does that. So she probably was confusing the two. I think that's what happened, and I don't think any content creator drew that conclusion. Now I could be wrong, but the way that I gather it, anytime I listen to those clips or saw the video and listen to other people talk about it, that's exactly what she did. She confused the two. But then again, if she didn't, I have to ask, why are you spending $100 on lunch? Are you seriously doing 2 drinks, an entree, and dessert all for lunch? I mean, is that what we're doing now? So I just wanted to make those points. So we're going to get back to the video here.
I'm not under the impression that there is a certain amount of money that a man has to send a girl, especially a girl that he either doesn't know or is just starting to date. I'm not thinking that we're out here making these demands of guys and calling them inadequate for not sending a certain amount of money. And
right. And let me address that too. So going back to my fellas here, we're not obligated to send anyone money. We're not. We didn't sign no contract. We didn't make no verbal agreement or anything like that. So, fellas, we're not obligated to send a damn thing. No, I don't care how good she look. That's one thing. To my sisters, okay, my ladies, y'all have to stop this too. Especially if you're working hard, you're doing the damn thing. If you're strong and independent like most of you claim, you should not be on a man's back to send you anything. If you're strong and independent in that regard, you're strong and independent to pay for your own damn breakfast, lunch, and dinner and more. So a man is not obligated to send you anything, especially when he doesn't know you, especially when y'all not in a relationship. We have to get out of this transactional mindset, y'all. The men, we have a part to play. The women, y'all have a part to play. It's that simple. We got to get out of this mentality. Seriously, y'all.
So from that story, from that girl that decided to post it, I want to say on TikTok, because everybody posts their degeneracy on TikTok, a group of women on YouTube decided to take this story and ask it amongst themselves. And this is the question that they decided to ask amongst themselves.
Should women be grateful for whatever a man sends?
So when I initially did this reaction, because this is my second time doing this reaction. The first time was like later on the day, like a couple of days ago. And I was looking crazy. Me looking at myself now with the sun beaming, because it's like 7:30 in the morning compared to when I was going to actually do this episode, which was going to be at like 6 p.m. I was like, I need to be refreshed. I have a nice coffee and I bought some water, because this one was a doozy. Now, most people don't know, or maybe they could assume, and they would be right. Black women are not the most positively veered in the world, okay? Not saying that people don't find us attractive, but from what you see on social media, the ones that are the loudest, we don't tend to look favorable to certain people when it comes to relationships. Rightfully so. It's the same equivalent as when you see Black people robbing stores and doing criminal acts. They kind of put a bad look on other Black people that look similar to them, because when you see a lot of people doing a thing and they all look the same, you have to be on guard and assume that the next person that looks like that person is going to do the same thing. It's just common sense. A lot of people like to veer it as racism, but I use it as common sense. These women were on this podcast, and I was actually trying to find this actual podcast itself. The channel, like the name of the podcast, I couldn't find. It was actually under a totally different channel name. I think it's like a bunch of shows that they just put on this one channel, but this particular one episode I couldn't find. And sometimes when it comes to videos on YouTube that get a lot of flack, like a lot of people are reacting to it and probably have a lot of negative things to say about it, they tend to private the video in order for them to skirt their way out of explaining themselves. I'm watching it and I'm listening to these women say what they're saying. And I'm thinking in my head, this has to be like a gag. Like, these women are definitely joking. Like, no one's taking this seriously. But then come to find out, these women are dead ass serious about the things that they're saying.
Whatever he gives,
Absolutely not. It's a thing.
Be grateful for whatever let's just say it's 30. We're going to say 30. We're going to get.
Okay, now before we continue, okay, look at these ladies. Okay, they're pretty much touched up, from head to toe. They don't look bad at all. Dare I say, they probably would look better in person. But just look at them. Take a few seconds And when you look at these women, what are the first words that come to mind when you see these women? You know, I'm not going to get my answers. You know, I'll leave that up to y'all. But when you see them, what's the first thing that come to mind? You know. And as y'all ponder that, I'm gonna go ahead and continue the video, because when she uses these clips, you know, I'm gonna be pausing here and there. And shout out to this guy too. What's his name? He's from let me see, because I listen to his channel too. What's the name of his channel? Give me 1 second. Yeah, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. So shout out to him for his content as well. But we're gonna go ahead and continue.
Give the 30.
So he knows I'm going to lunch.
He knows you're
He
going to
knows
lunch.
my vibe. He knows how I like to move, and he only sent $30.
Okay, now bless her heart, she makes it seem like $30 is like such an insult. I mean, take the damn money. I mean, I don't mean to be, you know, facetious or flippant, but what is the problem? Would you rather it be $30, $3,000, or $30,000? You know. So, but like I said, just look at her response and listen to how she was saying. It's almost like the $30 was an insult. Like, girl.
Now I have to move in a way where he knows what I like and what I expect and what I do for myself.
They have a thing of, oh, you should be grateful for whatever he can do. No, you shouldn't. Absolutely not. He's not going to be my boyfriend, number one. But if I'm talking to him, next time I'm out and he says, oh, you need something for lunch, I'm going to tell him, it's okay. Somebody already sent me $100.
Now, you see that right there? That's exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, now that it just gives transactional vibes, you know. I mean, just to hear that last part. Did y'all hear that? I'm sure y'all seen this clip too. I have, and it's crazy. But then imagine if it was four black men on a panel like this taking that transactional mind frame. You know, it'll be outrage, internet outrage. How can they talk like this? How can they talk like that? How can they say this about women? How can they say that about women? Do you treat your women like that? And blah, 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 blah. Y'all know we would get it. You know, it would be videos out there right now, somebody talking about it. But yeah, you know, let's keep it going, y'all. Bless their hearts.
Also, $100. I was very annoyed watching this. One, because you have men out here doing things for women that they don't have to do. And from the way the girl was talking about the guy, they might have not even been going out that long. So this must be a really new relationship or just a new budding relationship. So the fact that he sends her $30 is a good reason to be grateful. As a matter of fact, it was very confusing as to why that was the topic. Should a woman be grateful?
Now, let me answer that. Okay, I would say anytime a man or whatever the case may be, you know, or it could be a woman, you know, but in this case, if a man sends a woman any amount of money, I don't care if it's $30, I don't care if it's $3,000. Should she be grateful? Yes. Why? It's simple. Because the man, you know, is taking money out of his account to send to you. He don't have to do a damn thing. So yes, you should be grateful whether you ask for it or not. But then again, if you didn't ask for it and you're getting it, you should be even more grateful because, you know, it's obvious. It's common sense here. So the thing is that, should you be grateful? Yes. I mean, if somebody outright decide to cash out me something or give me a few dollars, yes, I would be grateful because you didn't have to do a damn thing, whether I asked for it or not. So yes, there should be some gratefulness. Now, don't get it twisted and equate this. Okay, just because he sent me some money, does that mean I sleep with him? No, it's not going immediately to the sexual aspect. Okay, you know, because then the talking point, you know, if that's the case and you sleep with somebody for money and it becomes a transactional thing, then the woman could ultimately turn that around and say, you know, shouldn't you be grateful for me opening my legs up to you? Y'all get what I'm saying? It's the whole thing, you know. So to answer that initial question, you know, which is obvious to anyone listening, should you be grateful anytime somebody send you something, whether you ask for it or not? The answer is yes.
Should a woman be grateful for something that a person gave to them that they didn't have to give? Common sense people in the world would say yes. I would say yes. You know, I should be very grateful. This man has given me money to have lunch, something that I would not have had unless he gave it to me. Like now I'm able to go somewhere and have $30 left in my pocket because he decided to go out of his way and give me money. Yeah, I would assume that I would be grateful because he didn't have to do it. It's not like he owes me this. But then the entitlement starts to come in. And here's the thing that comes with women that look like this. It makes it harder for the rest of us that are normal individuals that are just roaming the world, trying to live our lives and just be good people. You have people that come on the scene, making themselves way more important than they actually are. You can't argue your point, which is why you can't find the episode anywhere. And the people that have been reacting to your take on this whole situation seem to have more common sense than you.
Oftentimes I get questions from older people that don't quite understand the dating culture as it exists today.
And again, shout
they
out to
just
this
don't
brother.
get why it is so difficult for young men to be dating. The pure and utter entitlement culture that has been bred out of this degeneracy as permeated within the culture. We are legitimately living in a world where dating in the West is dealing with women with mindsets just like this.
But then you have women like this that say that $30 is not enough and the guy should have given her $100.
It's better, like you said, instead of throwing a fit and oh my God, and going on the internet, this nigga did this, that, and the third. It's better to just show him what real men are doing.
Yeah.
You see that? See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You know, you see what real men are doing. Okay, so we come back to this thing again. So what you're able to send to a woman in the case of money, that defines what a real man is. Seriously. And then you got to wonder why women like this continue to be single and stuff like that. It's all in the attitude. And I'm not under any kind of illusion that they were joking doing this podcast or whatever. They meant what the hell they said. Nothing they said was slips of the lips. All right. You know, let's keep it moving.
We're being completely honest. Me in that situation, handling it with grace. Thank you so much, baby. I'm so appreciative. I'm gonna still take a picture of that bill and I'm gonna send it to him. Thank you for the 30. That was the tip. Here's the bill. What's up?
And you see that look on her face? You know, that's that common, I don't even know how to describe it, but that same look that she gave towards the end, you know, that's how most of them react. That whole, you're not going to tell me. And shout out to Messing with Sean for that. That's that whole, you're not going to tell me, I'm going to tell you kind of look. You know, that entitlement, you know, do as I say kind of look. You going to do this because I say so. That was that whole look on her face. You know, like I said, there ain't no slips of the lips here. They mean what the hell they say.
And then you paid it.
And then this one right here, this one. Now pay attention.
All you handle is a tip. That's what you need to know.
Pay attention. You know, when you see, let me take it a little step further, y'all. You know, I'm into this one. Okay. This one right here. You see how when they had their head tilted, you know, and they make the little hand gestures and they talk with a condescending tone. Pay attention to that, because usually when they talk like that, that's usually, you know, they tend to get agreement out of most women when they see them acting like that. It's almost like when they see women act that way and, you know, be that visual, so to speak, that's almost a license to immediately agree with them, no matter what nonsense they come out with. You know, that's it. You know, and like I said, pay attention to that. The tilting of the head, the hand gestures, and the condescending tone is and you know, it's all on display, man.
I'm gonna wait for that Apple Pay, baby. I'm gonna wait for the ride.
You're not good. Sometimes, every now and then, I hear things and I'm like, this is why I hate people. Somebody will turn around and say some dumb shit, and they'll say it amongst a bunch of seals, so everybody's in agreement to what's going on, even though what they're saying makes absolutely no sense. And the echo chamber is going to allow this to be okay because this is what all the women think.
Waiting on that apple, baby, ching through.
No, but that's a huge topic to where everybody want to keep women humble. Why would you come to a woman, not saying this is me or anybody, but a woman making $100,000, she go out to lunch and she spend $150 on herself. Why would you go to her and say, oh, well, a man, he took her to Applebee's. He can't afford where she wants to go, so she should just be grateful for that.
You
no,
can't
she
afford
shouldn't.
that woman.
Oh boy.
And so the lady was talking about how, because when I go out for lunch, I have an appetizer, entree, and dessert, and 2 cocktails.
When I go and eat, I eat full course meals. Like I order a appetizer, a entree, and a dessert and a drink.
See, again, listening to that again, she had to somewhere along the way confuse that with dinner in some weird way, because it's nowhere in the world you're doing all that for lunch on a day-to-day basis. Really? I mean, damn. I mean, it doesn't matter if your lunch is 30 minutes or an hour. Like, why do you need all that for lunch? That is tailor-made for dinner. And like I said, I don't think anybody has came to that conclusion that she might have indirectly confused that with dinner, because nobody is doing all that for lunch. Like, come on.
Can't even get me 2 drinks. Like, what the fuck?
And I was like, ma'am, excuse me, ma'am. And some restaurants actually offer like prefixed meals. So you can get a prefixed meal for dinner or lunch. Dinner is usually the 3-course meal where you get an appetizer, entree, and dessert. But lunch is either appetizer and entree or entree and dessert. You don't get all 3 because no one's out here eating 3-course meals during goddamn lunch. So when the lady said that, I was like, you're bullshitting and you just put it on because your friends are here. Like, I don't even know who these women are. Like, I thought they were personalities. I think they just have regular ass jobs, because someone said that they go to work. It seemed like they were just regular women, just work 9 to 5 jobs, and they go out and eat very expensively for no reason. Everybody has the right to do whatever the hell they want when it comes to the food and drinks that they eat. But my problem comes when a guy is giving you money that just met you, you're just starting out dating, and you have a problem with the amount that he's giving you. Not the fact that he gave you it, the amount. And some woman even said if it was a certain amount of money that was equivalent to the amount of money I was spending, that she would return the money back.
Now,
Right.
I'm going to accept it. I'm going to accept the 30. 30 is probably kind of like my threshold.
Yeah.
Because if my meal is $17.99 and you send me $17.99, I'm going to send that back. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It didn't become her threshold until that other video came out. The one with the girl with the curly hair. That's when it became her threshold. I guarantee you, prior to that video, there were no damn threshold. Stop
I'm
that.
I'm just not gonna be grateful and thankful for anything. Like you're gonna don't play
I'm gonna
with me.
heart the message.
Yeah.
I'm gonna heart it. That's it.
Do not play with me.
And it's like really ridiculous though, because I'm thinking in my head, you don't have to broadcast this on social media. Like, you don't have to make a video about this on TikTok and YouTube. Like, let's say you are a person that has very high class taste and the guy gives you $30. He thinks that's reasonable because in an everyday person's world, $30 for lunch is reasonable. I'm in Wawa's right now. For breakfast, I normally have a coffee because I don't really eat a lot. I can get a coffee and then a water for like $3 or $4. Lunch, I can get a club sandwich. And if I want to throw a cocktail in it, I'm spending upwards of $12. Man, like I said, there's certain restaurants, like really nice restaurants that have prefix meals. You can finagle that. Just say thank you and move on. We don't need to know that money didn't go towards the food and it just went towards gas. Like, I'm just so confused. Like, taste and tact and just being a decent individual is lost amongst people nowadays. And it's kind of annoying too, because it's like, these are not ugly women. And not that it would make it even worse if they were ugly, but it's just like, you see women that are pretty and you want to do good by them because, women need to be treated well.
And let me pause it right there for a minute. Now, she did make a good point that I would back her up on. Why even put this on the internet? But we know the answer to that because, anything has to go on the internet these days, right? Even though, even if it was a personal discussion, that still will make it bad. But the fact that you put it on the internet, that makes it worse. Like, no, you did not have to put this on the internet. But y'all know how things go down, in this social media era,
And then they say shit like this that make you rethink everything you ever thought you knew about dealing with women.
I mean, I go to the storehouse and spend it on pickle eggs and hot sausages. Hot sausages are
we're not saying we can't eat with the 30, but
I will accept it.
It's just really annoying that someone would feel like it's okay for them to say this out loud. Like, and put it on camera, put this guy on blast. Like, they didn't say a name, but it's just really bad to know that you could be a guy doing a good deed. You could be out here being a nice person, and then someone turns around and then shits on the good deed that you did that you didn't have to do. Thank you, babe. I appreciate it, and then moved on. I didn't have to talk about it. And
a simple thank you goes a long way, man.
everyday person's mind, that's totally fine. Like, I don't know, some nowadays with women making a lot of money, I guess this is where it's coming from. There's a lot of entitlement. How dare he give me this amount when I deserve this amount? Like, I'm so confused. You have a job? You can afford your little high class meals and all this, lunches. Just because this is what you are all about doesn't mean that he has to abide by this thing that you're all about, because that is a lifestyle choice. Also, who's out here having $100 lunches? Why is the amount so bad? Because you expected 3 times the amount. Why are you expecting something out of a person that's doing something out of the kindness of their heart? I hate people. Even being in Florida, I honestly just I don't get it. I don't know how some people are like living amongst people. People are the worst. It was first the driving for me that I will never get over. Florida drivers are the worst. And I mean South Florida drivers. I don't know if it's because of all the illegals. People just get used to the bad driving. So they're just like, you can't beat them, join them. And then you encounter these people like as they're driving and going into stores. And it's like, y'all just really out here just doing anything. And it's bad because I don't hate Florida. I just hate South Florida. But then you listen to the mindset of people that live out here, and there is a lot of entitlement here. People believe that they deserve so much while giving so little. And it's so appalling because it's like, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you right now, and I'm seeing how you operate in the world. What the hell is going on? When I saw that, I was like, you know what? I have to talk about this, either on my podcast or on my YouTube, and I'm probably going to do both. This was something that I found on YouTube, so thus I needed to talk about it. Also, you'll see a guy in the corner of the video, and this was the only video I was able to find. It was from a channel called Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews, and he was the only channel that had the reaction. And I was able to see and hear everything from the girls with his commentary. And like little by little, I might insert his opinions in it. First off, who's out here just giving girls, just regular girls, just money for food? That
I talked about that earlier. It's men, and dare I say simps, it's that simp behavior, men, y'all got to get out of that, specifically my brothers. Stop doing that. It's not helping anything. Stop gassing these women up, man. Please stop it.
That just seems like something that people are trying to keep up with the Joneses with. This amount of money and this jewelry and this purse and this trip. And I'm just like, would I be appreciative if someone did that for me? Of course. The idea that you said thank you to his face and then talk shit about him behind his back is kind of conniving. Like, it's like not a good thing. And it's just like, this is why women like them will stay single. But then women like me are going to have to work harder, because if I did myself up, I can look just like those girls, and then people are going to judge me because of those girls. It's not fair, but life ain't fair. You just talk about it, and hopefully people understand. Not every woman thinks like that. Someone gives me $20, $30, $15 for a lunch, I'm appreciative, because you didn't have to give me anything. We all have bills to pay. We all have responsibilities in life. And the mere fact that you went into your own wallet, sent me money, something that you didn't have to do, yeah, I'm gonna be very appreciative. That's not even an argument. That's not even that. I don't even know why this is even a discussion. It doesn't even make sense. But let me know in the comments below what you guys thought, because I'll be very intrigued.
All right, y'all. So again, shout out to that sister at the Lee Robbins show. Like I said, go ahead and give her a follow, show her support. I'm gonna put the link to that video in my description box. But yeah, I mean, she hit on a lot of key points, just like I hit on the key points too. So again, it comes down to, as time marches on, as we continue to be integrated with this whole social media culture and with the continuous influence of reality TV, my sisters, my ladies, it's a choice. Either as time marches on, either you're going to become a woman of substance or a woman of ratchetness. It's either one or the other. It can't be anything in between. And like I said at the beginning of the video, you can't be a woman of substance but have some ratchetness in you, and vice versa. It doesn't work like that. And the fellas, we're watching. We know what's going on out here. And best believe, with all due respect to everything that's happening, we're moving accordingly. We know what's happening, and we're responding appropriately to everything. We're seeing it, and I think in this particular day and age in 2024, yes, we're visual creatures, but we're visual in a whole nother aspect when it comes to what we're seeing online. We are. And last but not least, going to them 5 women that were highlighted in this video. Now you see, all 5 of those women will probably be the type that, they'll go on a Kendra G show, you know, and I'm using this for an example, you know, go on the Kendra G show. They will have 4 kids by 4 different men. The youngest child will probably be 3 or 4 years old. Kendra G will ask them, why you not with the 5-year-old dad, or why you not with the 4-year-old dad, or whatever. And it would be the same stuff. He was toxic. I was young. He was narcissistic, blah, blah, blah. Y'all have heard it. I'm sure y'all have seen the videos. And trust me, I done seen enough where I can rattle this stuff off the top of my head just like that. Then you go into that. Well, what kind of man you looking for? Somebody to protect and provide. Of course, that's the go-to, you know. Does he have to make a certain amount of money? Yeah, he got to make $250,000 or $500,000 a year, you know, and if he don't, he can't talk to me, you know, that sort of thing. You know, he can have kids, of course, you know. Does he have to be in your city or your state? No, he doesn't have to be, which is code for if you're going to see me, if we're going to date, you're going to have to fly me out. Otherwise, we can't make it happen. You see what I'm saying? You know, why would a guy be lucky to be with you? You know, I cook, I clean, you know, another go-to. And like I said in the previous video, you know, men are not impressed with that no more. If you can cook and or clean, fine. But we're not impressed with that as if we was ever impressed to begin with in a previous lifetime, you know. Then, of course, you know, y'all know the rest. You know, it's amazing how many Kendra G videos I've seen, right? You know, so with all that being said, man, it comes back to the whole thing about on both ends, we have to do better. You know, I'm sure I know my fellas, I know we're getting our stuff together. We're doing the damn thing. And I'm sure that there's women out there doing the damn thing too. But as we have seen over the last few years, you know, it's been this level of ratchetness that's like on full display for the world to see. And y'all know how things get when they see those images, you know, and pardon me for mentioning these names because they're usually the first ones that come up. When you see your Sexy Reds and your Sukianas and all of them, when they're on constant display, not just at home but abroad as well, that's gonna be viewed as the representation of Black women, and that should not be the representation of Black women. You know, do y'all want Sexy Red as y'all spokeswoman? Do y'all want Sukiana as y'all spokeswoman? Do y'all want the City Girls and Glorilla and all of that and all of them ladies? Do y'all want them as your spokesperson or spokespeople, I should say? You know, think about that for a second, you know, and I end with this again, you know, just in case you need to hear it again. My definition of a woman of substance has a positive attitude. She's sensitive. She's professional at work in her dealings with other people. You know, I may be adding some stuff in, but bear with me. She's kind, whether she's a mother or not. She's nurturing. She's definitely respectful. She has a high self-esteem. She carries herself with dignity. She's proud of her natural beauty, and she's classy. Now, match that up with a woman of supreme ratchetness, combative, loud, obnoxious, unbearable, entitled, aggressive, selfish, arrogant, money-oriented, and not in a good way, transactional, and last but not least, a horrible attitude. So as we march on, ladies, my sisters, y'all got to make the choice what type of woman y'all want to be, because if you're a woman of substance, you're going to attract a man of substance. If you're a woman of ratchetness, you're going to attract a man of ratchetness or even worse stature. The choice is yours. Shout out to Black Sheep. So with that being said, y'all, we've hit the end of this video. If you like what you heard and you're ready to become part of Team Discipline, go ahead and hit that like button and drop some comments if you're feeling the content. And last but not least, hit that subscribe button along with the bell so you're notified when I drop new videos. And until next time, my people, take care of yourselves. And remember, the power of the mind is